Morning. So let's go through the simplified ratio. So this is what we did last lesson. So we can ignore this middle bit at the moment. We are going from 4 to 6. We simplify that fully. What do we get? It's not 2.3, 2 to 3. And next time we'll talk a bit more about what does that mean. 2 to 3 is fine. 30 to 12. 5 to 2, you know? How'd you get it? So this one was obviously divided by 2, but this one's divided by 6. This one? 1 to 4. Because we could divide that one by 10. This one?
1 to 8.
1 to 8.
1 to 7. Oh, 7.
2 to 7, yeah. Because you're dividing it by 4. Next one, 16 to 8, simplifies to 2 to 1, because we are dividing by 8. 14 to 20 goes to 7 to 10, dividing it by 2. Okay. 36 to 6. 6 to 1, yeah. Dividing both by 6. Okay. So that was the simplified ratio stuff. Did everyone get that? Except for the last one. Right, did anyone come up with like an equivalent ratio for this first one?
6 to 9.
6 to 9, you think? And what was your reasoning for 6 to 9? Divide both those by 6. Does that work then, 6 to 9? Are there any other options? Yep. Divided it by 9. You got 4 to 6. That works. But it's the same as the beginning. Okay. Now the one you chose was actually a bit harder. Because if I look at these, this one was that one times by 2. This one was times by Josephson. This one was times by 6. And this one was actually times by 9. Forget about that. So the simplified one we divide by 2. But for all of the equivalent ones, we have actually multiplied to go up from the simplified. Did anyone spot that? So does it work here? What does this one get multiplied? This multiplied by
2.
2. This one is actually divide by 2. This one is multiplied by. This one's multiplied by.
I think it's 5.
It's not 5. You're not far. 4. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so what does that mean? Well, does anyone have what they think is a method for finding the equivalent?
Take one of the and we try and simplify it. By
Well, that is a simplified one and equivalent ratio.
try it gives us
Okay. Anyone want to add in?
I have a question. If you were gonna if you only had one ratio and a simplified ratio, how would you make an improvement ratio? Does it really matter?
Ah, what a good question. Does it matter? So for instance, let me just do the next line. This one has been divided by 2. This one's times by 3. This one's times by 8. This one has been divided by 5. Do you see how we can multiply or divide by anything we like? So in fact, actually, you said no, but a simplified ratio is an equivalent ratio. It's just also the most simple version, the one that's gone the lowest possible. So how can I find an equivalent ratio? Well, I take any of these ratios and I multiply or divide by anything I like. So for instance, let's take the 5 to 2 and let's find an equivalent ratio that we don't have here yet. What can we multiply it by?
2.
But if I multiply it by 2, I get 10 to 4. Because this one has been multiplied by 2. But equally, this one has been divided by 3. 30 down to 10 is divided by 3. So you can multiply or divide any of them to find an equivalent one. That makes sense? So, let's just verify our approach. Okay? Because remember, this is the criterion B thing. We've got an idea. So if I say the given ratio is, well, actually, give me a ratio. A number. 7. Give me another number, Dash.
8.
8. We've got a ratio 7 to 8. This is the ratio. Let's do an equivalent ratio. No, you're going to answer my question. Yeah, I'm talking to you at the moment. That's the kind of question you don't ask while I'm teaching. Dash. 14 to 16. How did you get it? Times it by 2. Give me another one, someone. Kenzie. Times by 4, and what do you get? $16 times 4. You got a calculator, do it. 64? Sure? Well, we want to do 8 times 4, so it's actually 32. Yeah? So we're starting with 7 to 8. So 7 to 8. Let's start with 7 to 8 again. Give me a different one. Guys, gentlemen, what are we going to multiply by? Eight. What'd you get? 56 to 4. Kenzie? 7 to 8. Good. I'm glad you did that one and didn't just follow this pattern. Times by 3, and you get Now let me ask you this. You've done multiply, 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 multiply. Is there one that we can use that's divide? Why not?
7.
Go on, say it again. Well, okay. Well, actually, 7 is more is a prime number as well. So if 8 doesn't divide by 7, so there's no number that does divide into both. So what does that mean about 7 to 8? Okay, so it's the simplified one, so most simplified. So you gave me the simplified version. So because you gave me the simplified, there is no equivalent one where the numbers get lower. Whereas in this table, some of them look, well, all of these could be simplified. But simplified also means these are also equivalent. Yeah? They're just the simplified equivalents. No, because that is the simplified version, yeah? All right, so you've got a job to do. Does that make sense to everyone, what we've got? So there's 2 things you need to have understood now. You need to know what a simplified ratio, how to do it, and you also need to understand how to find equivalent ratios. Now, I do notice that some of you haven't filled much more of this in. I hope you understand it. What I'm going to get you to do now is these things. Write down how to find a ratio that's equivalent to the ratio. We've just done it, right? So if you want to just copy what I've just done, up to you. But that table needs to be in your book. And I haven't written it out, I've shown it, but you need to write a sentence. How do I find an equivalent ratio? Does that make sense? You're going to do it in your own words, whatever is meaningful to you. If you haven't done it yet, don't worry about it. You can do it maybe another time, but what's really important is what you've done and the writing. You're going to answer the question to find an equivalent ratio, blah, 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 in your own words. What do you do? Full stop. All right?